Dave, it's nice to see you again. Good morning.
Good evening.
It's the other way around today. Like it's my morning and your evening because we got shuffled up in the schedule.
We did. We got creative with the scheduling.
The schedule. Anyway,
The
how are you doing?
schedule. I'm good. Yeah, you're not faring too bad at this end of the day, so that's okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, how was your?
I'm still a bit tired. I have a new hobby. Like
Mm,
I am now I'm not yet, but I'm almost member of a choir. So don't have the official membership yet because that needs a few more attendances, and then they will actually test my singing ability, my singability. But
okay.
so far, it's been super fun, and I'm hoping I'll get accepted as a tenor or a bass. And I think my chances are pretty good because they have like one other tenor and two other basses and like 40 sopranos and alts. So
Well,
yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool. So you've got a new
they don't have
a
enough
new
men.
activity.
Yeah.
Um,
And so yeah, that is super fun.
I haven't heard your bass singing, Daniel. Actually,
I can try to get very low. But I think I'm more comfortable in the tenor range, which is slightly above. I have this buddy who's like a really good bass singer, and he gets like crazy low. He gets like ludicrously low. I'm gonna have to like he has a very small band called Roadshot. I'm gonna send you like after this. I'm gonna send you some
yeah.
examples.
Send
I
me.
think they're on the platforms.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, cool. We had a fun idea last time, which is we should introduce each other. We should introduce each other
Mm-hmm.
by writing an introduction from the me perspective and then letting the person who is introduced reading it themselves. So I wrote a thing that starts with "Hello, I am Dave." And
Mm-hmm.
you haven't read it yet. You haven't seen it yet. And I'm
I
going to
have
paste it
not.
into our shared notes, and then you will have to read it to introduce yourself. Are you ready to do that?
I am indeed. What? Okay, I'm gonna read it and then we
Don't
will
think,
see where
just
this
read.
goes. Yeah. Okay. Hello, I am Dave. I have a huge fetish for bluebeards and goatees, which is fortunate because have you seen my co-host? Yummy. When it comes to software development, I have two wolves inside of me. The professional wolf who wants my co-workers and employees to have as good a time as possible at work and who will use as efficient processes as possible to make sure the work gets done cleanly, quickly, and with care. The other wolf inside of me is the tinkerer wolf, who comes out when I want to rewrite my side projects into the 17th different software design pattern, easy for me to say, instead of just releasing the damn thing. Thank you, Daniel. Recently, all my tinkering energy is going into writing software using AI, which I'm trying to do as inefficiently as possible, mostly so that my co host Daniel can pronounce Claude Code wrong again. At home, I am a fantastic dad and partner. Try to be a mindful citizen of a colonial nation, and just generally be a decent person.
That's pretty much you. What did I miss?
Dang. I was worried. I was worried it was going to be really roasty. Mine sounds mean now. It's also it's also a lot shorter. But no, you did very well.
You did.
Yeah. No, you did. You did. I can't take the credit. You wrote the words. I definitely wouldn't have introduced myself in that way. But now maybe I might.
Sure.
Beside me,
Put it
there
in
are
your
two
LinkedIn.
wolves. Yes, and yes,
The
I know I need
Tinkerer
to
Wolf.
release a damn app soon. We can talk about that in a bit. Yeah, mine is comical, and well, no, this might take just a little longer because I've got two versions of it.
Ooh, okay. I'm
Thanks to,
excited.
and if it's wrong, don't blame me. You'll see why in a second. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Don't think, just read.
Okay, I'm just starting reading. This is German.
No, no,
Okay.
no. Read it in German, and then I'll paste the English. It's an
Hallo,
attempt at German.
mein Name ist Daniel, ein außergewöhnlicher Schlumpfberührer. Mein Bart ist tiefblau gefärbt, geerntet von den Schlumpffeldern Südbayerns. Ich genieße Kaffee, Computer und Podcasts ohne Hose. Yeah, you hit me pretty well. Like, I'm gonna read the translation now. So this is pretty good, by the way. Like, this is basically correct. Like, so English translation as follows: Hello, my name is Daniel, cluster toucher extraordinaire. Like this is different than the Like, because the German translation says I'm a Smurf toucher extraordinaire.
Okay, yes, it's really got that wrong then. But anyway,
I'm a Smurf toucher, but this is a cluster toucher. So yeah, I'm actually more comfortable with touching clusters. My beard is dyed with the deepest blue tint harvested from the Smurf fields of southern Bavaria. I enjoy coffee, computers, and podcasting with no pants on. Which, let's just leave the camera as it is. Like, the other camera is only for my OnlyFans. Oh,
we
this is
weren't going to
fantastic.
boost that on this show, but yeah.
So yeah, we're both introduced.
We are introduced. Does that mark a show start? Like, we're going to do the usual intro still, or
We're gonna do the usual intro because we introduced
go on.
ourselves, but not the show. So this show is called Waiting for Review, a show about the majestic indie developer lifestyle. Join your scintillating hosts to hear about a tiny slice of their thrilling lives. I am Daniel, the tireless man on Earth and surrounding celestial bodies, and I'm here with Dave, who is the greatest AI whisperer of our time. Join us while waiting for review.
We are now into the show, fully into the show. But yes. Anyway, Smurf toucher or cluster toucher, like.
Yeah. Like the thing that you used to translate this apparently thought, what is a cluster? I'm just gonna take the Smurf from the next sentence.
It's Google Translate. So yeah. Well,
would you like to talk about something slightly less silly but still a bit silly?
I'm not sure it's silly, but let's see. Go for it.
I have been accepted, and I think I taught you this last time, but like I have nothing. I have like more news now, more details. I've been accepted to server-side SwiftConf as a speaker.
Hey,
which
awesome.
is cool because I can talk about Swift on the server, which is something that I've been doing for years now, but I haven't had many conversational partners to talk about it. So I'm really looking forward to going to London.
London, mate.
London. Talking about Swift on the server, which is going to be fun. And also, I just discovered that they started announcing speakers now, and actually like two people who I really wanted to meet for the longest time in person are going to be there. So I'm going to reach out to them and be like, hey, you're at server-side-swift.conf. I don't know, server-side-swift.conf. I am too. Let's have a drink or something.
Well, that'd be really, really cool.
It's really cool. I just booked my flight and hotel. The hotel is ludicrously expensive, and the flight is ludicrously cheap. Even though I didn't go to the worst airport, I'm going to the second worst airport of London.
Is there a good airport of London?
Well, everyone who I tell that I'm flying to London is saying stuff like, "Oh, don't take." I forgot the names of the airports again, but like, don't take the one in the north because it takes like 2 hours to get into the city, and it's like just like the price of the cheap flight is kind of negated by the price for the train ticket you need to pay. And so I didn't take that one, but I'm flying into the I think that's Heathrow. I'm flying into the one in the south of the city, which is also in 1 hour train ride, but it's just 1 hour. So, and also like I used to have to go to Munich airport here in Germany, where I need to go. I need to ride a 2 hours on a train to actually get to the airport, and that is now negated because I can just take the subway for 4 stations. Like I can go from here to the airport in like 15 minutes if I'm cutting it. So that is a nice
that's cool.
And I did think about like, can I take a train because it's more environmentally friendly and stuff. And I always wanted to go through the Channel Tunnel, but a train like costs like 4 times as much and it takes 10 hours. And I think no, that's like above my limits.
No. It'll be cool, and I think it's great that you're going to be speaking and stuff as well. Are they going to be recording the sessions or anything?
I don't know. I think they have recordings of the previous year's sessions on their website, so there's a high chance. So if it gets recorded, I will of course post a link. I also haven't finished my presentation yet because like usually I have like one thing that I want to talk about, but I don't really have one thing. Like this is basically just lessons learned. Like this is what I learned after doing this for 5 years almost.
That is one thing, but with a collection of things inside.
So it's more like an anthology. And so I'm thinking the thread that goes through all of these things is probably something like the history of telemetry deck, because like it's a bit more of a cohesive story, you know. But yeah, usually I have like one thing that I'm looking at from different sides, and this is like, oh yeah, here's how to improve your compile times, and here's how I do tests, and here's how I do caching and SDKs and whatever. So yeah, it's a bit more mixed stuff, but maybe that's gonna be cool. I don't know.
I quite like that idea, though. I certainly like the idea of you having the telemetry deck sort of narrative running through it, because it really is the thing that's grounded every bit of development and learning that you've been doing with it all, right? It's been
It's also kind of the reason why I started with Swift on the server in the first place, because this whole thing started out as a hobby, right? So so I wanted to try out, like I am really hang on. This is the I don't think if you can hear this. No, you can probably hear this. This is the
I
test
can hear
alarm.
that.
This is a test of the emergency system. It will stop in a second. I can't seem to make it stop.
Yeah.
And it's very annoying. We can think about cutting this out.
We will
now
edit
it's
this out.
on my watch as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a cellular watch, right? Is that why you're...
don't know. I have a non-cellular watch.
Okay.
But
it really wants you to know.
I have an app on my phone that also shows these emergency warnings. Come on. I'm going to try and stop it. So.
Hey.
Back.
We are indeed.
So I was like, okay, let's just not have this emergency alarm like completely destroy our session. And then it completely destroyed our session. So I grabbed my phone, which is also my camera, and it to try and silence the alarm, and then it completely disconnected the phone as a camera, and then the recording software kind of crashed. But we're back. We seem to be recording. Was
the alarm? So we asked a recording. Was the alarm anything serious? Do you need to go anywhere, or is it just a test?
No, it's not serious at all. Like, this is when it was announced a few weeks ago, I think, that they would try to test out the alarm system at 11 a.m. So that's what this was. And
that's a decent time.
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised. I was just expecting it to stop after a while, and apparently it did expect me to actually acknowledge the alarm on the phone, which I wasn't prepared for. So this is why this recording emergency happened.
It is. Hey, dude, but 11 o'clock is a decent time, and I say that because a month or two ago, New Zealand did a test of their emergency alarm, and they did one at a fairly reasonable time. It was like, I think maybe 6 p.m. in the evening or something like that. And then it went off again the next day, like I think it was 6 a.m., which for a test, nobody in the country was impressed with.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
So I was like, yeah, all right, I'm awake.
Yeah, the UK had a test, I think, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Which I know about because it was during the Formula One race.
Oh, dear.
And people were like glued to their screens, really like very concentrating. It was all exciting. Suddenly, like something. Next.
Well, test over. All is good. Got you back.
I think I'm finished with the story for server-side Swift.
Well, we will link server-side Swift in the show notes.
Of course.
Yes.
How about you tell me what inefficient way of using Cloud Code you found?
Sorry to the YouTube viewers there. That was a hand signal at Daniel across the video.
Yeah. You were victorious, is what you showed.
I was indeed, yes. What inefficient way of coding am I doing at the moment? Well, yeah, so I think on our last show we talked about how the vibes were off, right? I was out of vibe coding mode. Is that about right? We did? I can check down the show notes. It's right there. Yeah, so I'd fallen down a bit of a rabbit hole. And, well, since then I've been on a little bit of a journey. So I started strong with this experiment, and bear in mind this is like month. Where are we now? This has got to be starting month 3 with Claude Code. So I'm 2 and a bit months into it, and before that it was ChatGPT. But the experiment was use some of these AI tools for development and see how applicable they are to things that I do. And just to reintroduce what on earth I've been up to with Claude, it's been a case of like, have a play with it, see how it works, and then go hard out with a brand new project to see how well it did. And all was fine and groovy for like month 1.5 into it. So I spent about 3-4 weeks in the hole tinkering away, which you are fair to call me out on, Daniel. It's been a long time, like not making any progress with it. But what happened is that it was like watching a cake rise and then the middle drop out of it as a project, right? And because the proof of concept went really well, I was flying with it. It was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm giving it all this like I gave it all these rules to start off with. I told it what I wanted, how I wanted the project to be, and various bits of, I don't want you to use this type of approach. I want you to use this type of approach, like quite explicit. And so it looked like my proof of concept was coming together quite nicely. And then it started to degrade. And by degrade, what I experienced was every time I went to add something new into it, it just wasn't working out. It was getting the most easy things, or relatively easy, wrong. And then it was also taking routes I wasn't happy with, didn't want. And so you sort of, what I now understand is that I guess I kind of reached the limit of like how much it can hold in its context to get the job done. And what ends up happening is that's all your rules, that's any relevant documents, this, that, and the other. It pulls it all together and your request, and then bits get shaved off and dropped off and assumptions get made, and you see this sort of regression to, I guess it's regression to the mean, right? Things kind of get averaged out. It may not literally be that, but it's that sort of smoothing of the requirement that then ends up with those artifacts, those edges.
So you've been basically speedrunning what the American corporate, like big tech corporations, are now also finding out.
Yep. So there are various tools to try and, like, things that people have made that allegedly in one way or another will improve the experience, right? And I won't go into every single one of them, but over the last few weeks I've probably tried most of the biggies, or the ones that at least turn up first in search results. And I haven't had any real luck in sort of stirring it out. And I'm like, all right, I'm pretty damn close to just canning this, starting a new project, coding it myself, and just pulling in the bits I'm happy with. Because there are bits of the code that I did with this that I am pretty happy with what I say it did, but it's, it's in combination with me guiding it. Like, it made a pretty good job of a core image pipeline in the end. Not because it was good at it out of the box, but because I laid down loads of rules about this and then guided it to where I wanted it to be. So I'll take that for sure and pull that through to a new project. All right. Last week, if I'm that close, I may as well just try one more idea. And so that idea was, I am not happy with the architecture of this app. More than anything, what I was saying, Daniel, is like it was doing weird things with dependency injection. It was starting to do things where it was like holding on to certain items of state in one view and then injecting it all the way across loads of other ones in like stupid ways. And it was just like, what, like, do people really code like this? What on earth is it trying to do? Where has it learned this from? This is bullshit, So I laid down a new project and I created an example app and an example architecture. I learned, taking all the things that I didn't like it doing and taking all the things that I wanted the project to have, and then going, well, okay, what does ideal state sort of look like? And that I then took that and actually ran it back through ChatGPT.
You're going multi-AI.
And I had it critique and call out weaknesses. And that was actually really cool because it threw up things that, were sensible. And then I was able to make tweaks and improvements. So I did that, made those tweaks and improvements. And then in between all of this messing around, I found a new approach for working with Claude Code, which I am now about, I want to say 3/4 of the way through progressing with. But yeah, shall I tell you about that? Because that's kind of got somewhere a little bit.
Yeah, you sent me a message like a few days ago, and I was kind of intrigued. So yeah, fire away. Please do.
Okay. So the message I sent you, I told you about this thing called Agent OS, and I'll link it up in the show notes. But the main principle of it is that it installs a whole bunch of instructions and tasks, commands rather, that Claude can run. And then the way you work with it is you say, okay, I'm going to create a project. So you run the create project command, and then it will then prompt you and ask you to describe the thing you're making. So I did that with my new project. I gave a description. I took a whole bunch of the description I had for the original app and other bits that I got and pulled it all together and just sort of went, there you are, this is the thing I'm trying to make. And then it queries you a few times and it asks you different things. But within this, the thing I did that was different is I said, we're making this project, but I also have this example app and architecture here. And I copied that into the root of the project folder and then went, I want you to analyze that because that's how we're going to build this thing. The next stage with working with it is that you then go and ask it to create, tasks, and it will go through everything you've given it, lay out a load of like development tasks. And so you're kind of going like in that very typical sort of, product story ticket to dev tickets kind of flow. And again, it'll ask qualifying questions and this, that, and the other. And it asked a whole bunch of things around the architecture.
Quick question.
Go on.
It's called an OS, but is it like actually an OS? Like, is it
It's
an
not an
operating
OS.
system?
It's just the name.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah,
roughing
yeah.
myself against that. Why would you like? Is
No,
it Linux
no,
based? Like,
it's
why would
just
you
a name.
reboot into? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you get your tasks together. You have this back and forth with it, and then you tell it to execute through the tasks.
All right. And how does it work? Like under the like, does it use your existing whatever you're using, like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever?
Yeah, it's all in Claude. All right, so it installs its
okay, it's all in
instructions and everything else into Claude. So you're just using Claude, but you're using these specific commands. So that was the start of it, and I kind of got it to a stage of like, a couple of iterations working through that process to then have like a base app down that was kind of starting to look like a bit of the structure of what I was building before, but mocked up. I was like, right, fine. I can either keep going like this, go, and I can go one of probably 2 or 3 routes, right? I can keep using this setup to try and get back to where I was trying to get to before. I could leave this here now and just take the wheel, always an option. Or I can feed the project that is completely deflated on itself and bring that in and see how good a go it would do of migrating that code. And so I did a new Git branch, and I am now 75% of the way through a migration, which has been happening in stages over the last couple of days because I'm not always sat there poking it. But yeah, so it is definitely producing better results compared to just using Claude on its own. I've been looking through the code.
It's better. You put it like what sounds like days of work into like building up this infrastructure.
Installing those tools themselves is like really quick, and then working through
but
it
like
just follow the
giving them
instructions.
with all instructions and everything, right?
Yeah. The work was really laying down the example project and then actually thinking through, okay, because part of the problem as well is that I haven't necessarily been explicit with it as well. So then you also get when I was doing the initial project that has now collapsed on itself, I really was just trying to see how far I could push it. It was very much like, well, I actually want the vibe coder experience because people keep going on about this stuff and I want to see how good it really is because I actually want to get a realistic view of that. Can I not one shot, but use this to create an app without much input? What I'm now finding is that with the right inputs, you can get something, that is a lot better out of it, and with the right tooling. But it's certainly been a lot of effort to really get to this stage of actually understanding it well enough to get it to do it.
And
Has
you
it been
could
quicker?
do it also because like you are actually a programmer. You can understand the output.
Yep.
So it must be like orders of magnitude harder for the just vibe coders.
I would say so. And it's also something to be aware of as well as like, just because you are good at one particular type of programming or one domain area or whatever, it's going to be easy to get tricked by these sort of tools in terms of, all right, it's really good when I was working with it on that thing that I knew lots about. Yeah, that's because you knew well enough when to cut it off and how to direct it. You can't generalize that to every other thing you may develop in the same way. You've got to kind of be, I think, at least objective and look for other ground source truth with what you're doing for it to actually be good. Like if I did this setup and then went, make me my Android version of this app, I could not tell you to the same degree as I can with iOS whether it's given me
Right.
rubbish,
Right. Fun stat for you, by the way. So over the last 24 months or so, The number of new projects on Git has not significantly increased. Also, the number of new websites or domain registrations has not so sufficiently increased, which like would be an indicator that vibe coding just works because like there's lots of new projects. But what has increased is the only thing that I could find that what has increased is number of lines per Git PR globally.
Yes.
That's the only stat that has changed since like vibe coding started to become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of tracks with how I use AI to code these days, which is just like the small menial tasks. And it sounds dismissive, but actually it's like super helpful because, I need a test for this new controller. I need a new database model, but it's like, it is actual work to like just like think about like what the field should be and then type it out and then also add a migration or whatever. It's like just like busy work. And it is actually incredibly good for my motivation to just be like, hey, do this busy work, and then I can immediately start with the creative stuff. So I'm actually enjoying it, but I'm using it way less than I thought I would be in the beginning. Just like maybe if I'm very generous, like 10% of my output is AI generated, and I think that's probably a good thing because like
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you need to
rubs off. It takes off the menial tasks that I kind of have to do. Also, like the other day, I used it to like convert all my tests from XC test to Swift test, which is the new Swift testing format, which is way faster to run. So that's an improvement.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
And also there, I ran into the thing with the what window, the context window, where I basically had to make it like I basically like told it to make a to-do list for itself for each file individually, and then don't look at all the tests at once. Like look at one test at a time. So that is what's working these days, and I'm interested to see how far you're coming with the agent operating system. That's for sure.
Well, I kind of feel like if I haven't gotten to a stage of having a test flight release of the app in the next week or two, then I really do need to cut the experiment off. Like the tools that are there, they are very good for, like you say, menial tasks, small bits, things that have just sort of taken you out of that creative flow that you just kind of want that thing ready to then start poking around with. Like, great. Really good at proof of like getting a proof of concept together quick when you don't care about the quality of the code. I still care. Like I'm looking at this and going, I don't want something that's an absolute, rat's nest of code to then support if this app actually goes anywhere, right? Like that's just going to be a future mess to sort out for me. Like that annoys me. That doesn't feel good. So I think like unless it's actually going in the way that I really want it to go, then I have to stop and go back to the point I said before as being another option, which will be, right, new project, start again, pull in the core bit that I know is working well. That's great. And probably just ditch a whole load of these tools and pare down again to then kind of go, well, okay, what do I really want to bring in alongside me, if anything. But I'm not there yet. And it feels like it's kind of working, but it's felt like that before. We had that show a couple of shows back. That was straight off the back of successful proof of concepts, right?
Right. And I still feel like I wrote, I think I wrote a message to you about this at some point. Like I wrote to you, like this feels like playing a video game. I wanna see like one more thing. Like just wanna play around with it more. And I think that's the thing. Like AIs, like especially the coding AIs, are kind of catnip for programmers because it feels so incredibly productive and you're flying and stuff. I think like if you look in the at the output in the cold hard light of day, it is not as effective and efficient and whatever, but it just is so fun to just like tell it a bit, and then you see so many changes. Everything is like colorful and bright, and it seems to work at first glance. And so that is like the siren call. The siren song of AI, which I think people will start to realize more and more. Like, and then like I think we're gonna get out on the other side of this with a new cool tool that is helpful in some situations, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one of the reasons I did want to keep talking about it on this show, right? Is because you've seen me come through the phases very quickly. I think show by show almost, and maybe on the next show I'm like, dude, I got it in test flight. It's actually looking quite groovy, and I've got a pattern down, and it's working for me. But I think it's good to talk about the reality of it because otherwise people are just sort of thinking, oh, these things are really, really brilliant, and They can be, context is key, right? In all senses of the word. And also they're not completely awful either. But I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I think really one way or the other, this is going to be the only sort of fully like vibe coded experiment. That was the frame of this experiment to myself, right? Can I get something through this sort of process to test flight and then see how that goes? I think if the answer is it takes 2 months of spare time, well, I probably could have done that quicker myself, to be honest. But
it
at
is
least
a
I've
good experiment to have, like to experience this for yourself and see, like, okay, this works, this doesn't. So that's kind of cool. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, you deserve to play a video game every now and then. Like, I've been rediscovering Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, this is just for
classic.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's why the experiment I am going to have to commit to a cutoff with it, because I do want to get back into adding features to Go VJ and the apps I've got in the store already. Like, I can't just sit in this sort of tinker mode all the time. So, but on the other side of it, then I've learned some of these tools. I've had a bit of a go.
Right.
That's not the worst thing, to be honest with you. And it certainly has felt more fun than going, oh, I'm never going to use any of these things at all because they're awful. Like, it's like, yeah, there are a lot of awful sides to it, and I don't really want to go into all of that end of it right now.
I'm
the
still
show.
expecting like half of these AI companies to fold once the
Yes,
initial gold rush is over.
exactly.
So who knows if we can even use them? Like, once they actually have to be profitable, like,
Yeah.
it might become prohibitively expensive to use them.
And that's a whole other reason to not tolerate it producing you rubbish code, because you're going to be left with that on your plate in the future. This whole idea of like, well, you can just keep re-rolling every time. And it's like, yeah, you can if you think you're getting somewhere. But, from my experience, chances are if you're not getting somewhere, no amount of re-rolling is going to help you because you're already in the entropy of a shit code base, basically. So
yeah. I think like it's working for me. It's working the other way, like, because I'm only giving it like small tasks, but at the same time it keeps tripping over the edges and rough edges of my code base. So over the last few weeks, what I've actually done is like remove a lot of or fix a lot of warnings, like improve the structure slightly so that it makes more sense, or so it's actually improving my code. Like, I have to improve my code myself, but it makes me improve my code. So that's kind of nice. But
yeah, that is cool.
do you want to, like, as a last thing today, maybe talk about the Apple event that happened recently?
Yes.
Because we haven't talked about it
yet. Yeah, go on. Although I'm not sure it's going to be a long conversation, Daniel.
No, but I mean, we are still, like, we have some Apple, like, or the name of the show is like Waiting for Review and whatever. Like, we should probably go a little bit into it.
We should.
I found that I have way less enthusiasm for the whole show than I even did before. Like I thought my enthusiasm for Apple stuff was at the bottom, but ever since he gave that weird like block of gold with the piece of glass on top of it to the guy, like, it has sunk even further. Like, I was like seriously considering just like not turning it on. Like, actually, I was actually deep in Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I was like, and then people started like talking on my social media. I got notifications from it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's starting. So I missed the first 5 minutes of it, which
it probably opened with Tim Cook saying good morning. You probably didn't miss
good morning. What
it
didn't
there.
Like, because I wanted to check, but I just, like, according to the people on social media, what it didn't start with was some kind of environmental or social message, which on the one hand is a bit sad, but also telling. But on the other hand, it would have been incredibly facetious. So I guess, like, that's off. What it did have was a 10-minute segment or 15-minute segment even of, like, if you don't wear your Apple Watch, you're gonna die. Like, you wear your Apple Watch or you'll die in a horrible accident, or because your heart's going out or whatever. So that was still there. Like, they've been doing this for a while. But yeah, let me go through the products maybe. First up was the AirPods Pro 3.
AirPods Pro, mate. Yeah.
I am, like, the AirPods Pro are still my most used Apple product, because, like, I have them in my ear right now. I have them, like, they are in my ears, like like hours every day. Like
Yeah.
either I'm listening to podcasts or music, or sometimes I'm just using them as for the noise cancellation. Like I'm not playing any audio through them. It's just like I'm someone who is like sometimes like if it's too loud, that's very distressing for me. So if I'm going through the city or whatever, I will usually have them in just for the to have a bit of quiet, just like to dampen the sounds of the city. The sounds of the city. A little bit.
No, it's cool. I
I'm
kind of
such a
use them
soy boy.
similarly. Oh no, I use them similarly as well. Like if I have to go around the supermarket, then yeah, it tends to be that I'll either use noise cancelling or I'll put transparency on, but I'll have some music up quite a way over the transparency, right? So yeah, they're in my ears a lot. So no, it's cool that they're getting updated, but I don't see any reason to go straight out and buy a new pair. It's like,
So the thing was like before the event I was like maybe that's the only thing I might actually get, because if the noise cancellation is like significantly improved, then it might be a worthwhile upgrade. And also like because I'm using them so much, like the battery starts to degrade after a year or two. And
yep.
so it might be something that I can consider. But then just like hours or just a day before the keynote, I think, out comes a Mark Gurman article that says, well, the noise cancellation is basically not improved at all. And then Apple comes out and says the noise cancellation is twice as good. So I don't know who to believe. So what I'm gonna do is
I
I'm not gonna pre-order it or anything. I'm gonna
mm,
wait for some publication that I trust to review them. And if they say, oh yeah, this is like a marked improvement,
name of the
then I will
show. You're waiting for a review.
Oh my god, I am waiting for a review.
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. But I'm trending toward not buying them, like also because like I don't know, like I don't want to. I don't want to. Like I have like better uses of my cash, I think.
You got to wait until you put them in the washing machine like everybody else.
Also, the other thing that is not announced is like my laptop is actually starting to die. Some of the ports are like getting unreliable.
What? How long have you
And
had that
it's
one, Daniel?
4-ish years, 3-ish years, 3.5 years
Okay.
maybe. But I've
Yep.
been using it a lot, especially traveling with it a lot. And it also had a motherboard replacement or main board. So what are they called in Apple devices? I don't think they call it
Yeah.
motherboard.
Logic board.
Logic board, that's the one. So I had a full logic board replacement for some issue like a while ago, and that also might have weakened the whole structure, maybe. Like, because that's what it feels like as if the
Right.
metal structure is kind of weakened, and then things are just getting wobbly, and then the contacts are of the ports are not holding properly. It's a bit of an adventure to charge this device right now. So I've been
Right.
thinking, do I get a new laptop? Which they haven't announced at this event. And I've also decided I'm not going to get like one of the M4 machines. I can survive another half year. And
Okay.
then if they announce in the next half year or so, which is very likely, new M5 machines, I will consider those. But I will also actually, because I will also look at Linux machines a bit. But like then again, like I like macOS still too much. But anyway, that is not part
Yep.
of the Apple keynote. But like so far, I haven't seen anything that I want to buy,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably good because consumerism is destroying us.
But on that note, Daniel, what about that orange iPhone Pro?
That is actually
That
very
almost.
pretty. That is
I
almost
thought you
custom.
might
Like
think that. Mm.
the thing is, I bought an iPhone just last year. So even though I love the color, and even though like I would love to use that color, an iPhone of that color, I'm not in the market for a new iPhone at all. Because this one that you are watching me through is fantastic and good. Also, these days it lives inside a case most of the time because I have a case that attaches it to my bike, and so I wouldn't see the orange color anyway. But I love that they finally broke down and made something in exactly telemetry deck orange, because we've been petitioning them to do that for years.
Yep.
Also, I'm not gonna go into other connotations of the color orange because that would be distasteful.
Mate, you
I
mean
love
like
that.
the soft drink Fanta?
Oh yeah, of course. Anti Fanta.
Yep.
I love the color. I haven't really like I watched the keynote. Like I've watched it with one eye. The other eye was like glued to Mastodon because so many cynical takes. Oh, that was peak comedy. Like everything got like taken apart very cynically. And people were commenting on like, oh yeah, this is like it used to be like people were like genuinely enthusiastic about the new Apple announcement, and this time it's just like everyone is like, ripping it apart. But it was like really fun to watch my feed while watching the keynote. But anyway, like I didn't see anything about the new iPhone that would be like an improvement for me personally. Like it has like some new features for professional filmmakers, which I'm not.
Yep.
It has a like slightly better cameras with a hugely increased camera plateau with the iconic plateau. The iconic
Yes.
plateau is bigger, which fine, but I like the camera is plenty good after a year. So yeah, I'm just like I don't see I think the dynamic
Yeah, no
island,
need.
like the iconic plateau is larger, but the dynamic island is smaller. So that's kind of good. And it has a vapor chamber, which is awesome technology. But I don't have the problem right now that my iPhone gets too hot the way I use it.
No. I mean, I can make mine
Vapor
get
chamber.
very hot. I like the idea of that side of the technology. That did look kind of cool. No pun intended, actually. But I don't know. I mean, I may end up getting one eventually at some point because there's a whole circle of life of upgrade and hand-me-downs in my household, and then that would kind of facilitate that. So I get the new shiny, everybody else gets the next down shiny, and so on. So maybe, but I'm still not fully sold yet. It's more like I'll probably again wait for the reviews and see where I am in another couple of months. But no, the orange looks cool. I'm not sure what they're really going for with the Air. Yeah, I don't know. That just didn't quite do much for me in terms of
The Air.
what it is like. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Like when they first showed it, I was like, "Oh, this is thin," and then they showed the iconic plateau. It was just like ludicrously, humongously large. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, if you really want to make a thin iPhone, just like to say, okay, the camera is shitty because this is the super thin one, but like just accept it. Like, why do this? It won't fit into pockets anyway. Like, it destroys the look. Like,
Yeah.
maybe just not have a camera. Just have a front-facing one, or have a shitty one, whatever. Like, show some
You really
courage.
could. Yeah, they really could actually. This is the phone you get when you're not really taking lots of photos, when it is just a selfie for communication and selfies. I don't know. I really don't know. I sort of missed the days where there was no camera bump on the back of the
Right.
phone at all.
Remember, like my niece has one. I think like she has an iPod Touch, and that thing was incredibly thin, and it had an
Yep.
integrated camera. The camera was bad, of course, but it was unapologetically thin, and I loved it.
Yeah, I kind of miss those days in some ways. I wouldn't want to go back to those sort of cameras. Spoiled these days in that respect. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like this felt to me like summing it all up because I didn't get up at 5 a.m. New Zealand time to watch it. It's like, no, I'm not getting up for an Apple event
5
now.
a.m. is too.
Yeah, it is for when it is definitely an infomercial sort of put together thing these days, right? It's not a live experience. Yeah, so I watched the Verge's Apple event in 16 minutes. And my general vibe after watching it was like, feels like an S year, which I think is probably an easy thing to say. But, like it's last year's models with some increments. The new cameras, I think, are going to be interesting. This whole sort of fusion camera thing they kept going on about, that might be more interesting than I sort of dismissed it as when I first saw it, because I don't know if that's going to lead to sort of more interesting things you can do, especially when you've got more than one of them on a device. But yeah, aside from all of that, it's another event, another year.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like S years are interesting Apple wise because there's a ton of new technology that just gets quietly introduced, like the vapor chamber, but also like they have
Yes.
a way, they have a new way of like addressing RAM basically that makes hacking the iPhones harder. And this is just cool technology, but like still,
yeah, and that will
not,
filter
I
through
won't
into
feel
the new laptops and things as well, probably as an approach, maybe if it can translate.
right.
But that's the sort of thing we see. Yeah, something gets tried in these various ways and then it gets pulled out onto all the other devices. But yeah, no, anyway, not terrible. And I think if anybody is going to get some new shiny, obviously enjoy the heck out of it. Get your money's worth, get your lifespan out of it.
So yeah, new watch, slightly thinner apparently, but I haven't seen any numbers. And it has the big new feature is it's gonna save you. Like you're not gonna die if you wear this watch because it will alert you to high blood pressure. The thing is, though, I have high blood pressure, and it's so what it won't do is like actually tell you your blood pressure. It will just tell you like, after watching your pulse for 30 days, I think you might have high blood pressure, which is not helpful for me at all. Like, wake me up if they actually have a blood pressure sensor, which is going to be way harder, of course, but still, maybe this is a step on the way. So yeah, also not very interesting to me. The thing is, though, like, this is a rental watch with the hardware rental company, so I might upgrade it when it arrives there. Because like if I could just send this one in and for the same monthly amount get the new one, like I might do it, but I might also not, because this one is fantastic and I love it. And it's if I can get that one in orange though, like, let's talk. I don't think they have the watch in orange. Yeah. What else? Anything else they announced?
Nothing else that really leapt out to me. By the time this show goes out, they may already be on their way to people. I'm just thinking about the timing. So, people's early orders and everything else will be shipping. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But the other thing is, of course, we will end up with liquid glass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did actually. Like, I'm not running the betas on my phone because I wasn't brave enough. But I am running the beta on macOS on this very machine that I'm recording on, by the way.
Right.
And I wanted to see some liquid glass, and it's disappointingly unliquid. Like I sent you a screenshot earlier of just my desktop because you were looking funny, and I thought that was cool. But like the main thing that you discover on macOS these, or at least as I discovered, is that all the edges are way more rounded. And that's
I'm just
cool.
opening that screenshot. Yes. Oh, that's kind of cute. Although, does that lose space out of the? Does that lose much space? It doesn't really, does it? It doesn't lose. It doesn't really lose any space.
Because if you have rounded edges with that high of a radius, you should probably like move back the inside elements a bit so they have space to breathe. But they don't. So sometimes like the elements in the very edge of a window look kind of weird, but I think they will update over time. The other thing is they are no longer allowing like icons that have a non-squircle shape, which is kind of disappointing. Like, look at in my dock, look at the things icon, like 5th or 6th from the left. It is just like hidden in a gray jail now because they haven't updated the icon. And that's kind of
right.
Like,
okay.
I don't know. Like, it makes my life easier because like if I only have on our website, for example, if I only have to display squircle icons, I can add the shadows and the squircle and everything in post. So this is very helpful, but it's kind of disappointing. Like, macOS icons were always the one where they had a little element that is kind of escaping out of the thing.
Yeah, that's a shame. But hey, it's going to be fun, I guess, to sort of play with some of the new stuff as it comes out. I have deliberately not ran any betas this year, largely because I've been tinkering with AI mode, right? At some point I'm going to have to, and it's probably a job to do quite soon, actually, to just make sure that I don't have any really bad bugs or issues before the actual release comes out. But no, I've kind of swerved it all this year. Maybe I should pick a sacrificial device this weekend. And
I just wanted to see some liquid glass. And the only liquid glass I've expected the whole OS to be like very translucent, and maybe it was in a previous beta or something like. But it's the only liquid glass I'm seeing is in the dock and in Apple Music, where they have like the UI laying very translucently and unreadably over the content.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Like, it's stable. I have been using it for a while. The only thing that doesn't seem to work sometimes is screen sharing. But only like I assume they have improved or updated the APIs for allowing an app to share the screen. Like you remember there was last year there was a thing like where they had new permission dialogues for screen recording and stuff like that. And
yeah,
so
vaguely.
Just yesterday I was talking to a customer over Microsoft Teams, which I never use. And so I was like trying to share my screen, and then the dialog pops up and I say like allow, and then the dialog says, oh, you might need to restart Microsoft Teams. And I didn't because I never do that. It always works, and this time it didn't work. So maybe this is a symptom of that new permissions dialog or whatever.
Yeah, your first mistake was using Microsoft Teams.
I have no choice in the matter.
Anybody who is spoken by a true Microsoft Teams user, which I am.
But I have all the meeting video things. Like I have the obvious ones like Zoom and FaceTime. I also have the open source ones like Jitsi or Big Blue Button, because that's sometimes how I communicate with people. I also have Tuple, which I haven't had a lot of use in the last few months, which is kind of sad. Yeah, but like I have all of them. Same with messengers.
I know we don't use any of those to communicate with to do this show because we use.
Oh yeah,
we're using
Riverside, which is also sharing
Riverside,
video.
yeah. But the idea of connecting with you on all of those and then just choosing a random one when we next record, I'm kind of amused. You're not going to know where the call's coming from.
I like that.
Well, Daniel,
Right.
we should wrap this show because clearly
Yes.
I've not got much more to talk about with the Apple event. Like, it was an event that happened. I'm glad there's new things for people. That's cool. But it has been lovely to talk to you again, though, dude.
It has been indeed. I'm gonna postpone telling you about namespaces until next time. Yeah, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Leave those Smurfs alone.
I will only touch Smurfs that want to be touched consensually and enthusiastically. So, all the Smurfs out there and all the non-Smurfs out there, that includes everyone, I think. Thanks for listening. Please rate us on iTunes and YouTube. Send us emails at contact@waitingforreview.com and join our Discord. The link is in the show notes. Dave, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on my Instagram, and that is just Lightbeam Apps on Instagram. So I'll link it in the show notes. Please, we talk about the show notes so much. Just click the thing in your podcast player, have a look at those beautiful show notes, and find me at the bottom there. It will be linked. But
fantastic.
How about yourself, Daniel, for people that don't want to go to the show notes?
Find me on Mastodon at daniel@social.telemetrydeck.com because that is still the platform that I enjoy the most. Also, I had the opposite of a shitstorm the other day where someone was asking publicly about the recommendations for analytics systems, and tens of people were recommending and mentioning Telemetry Deck, and it was like, that feels really nice. It's just like a warm golden shower. No, wait, like a warm shower.
Yes.
Wrong connotation there.
Wrong connotation.
All right. Fantastic. See you soon.
Take care, Daniel.
Bye.